Hey everybody, NegroVMX here, and welcome back, back to another Pokemon Showdown matches video. I got 10 more matches to show you. These are all brand new. They're all from last night and today. I actually played a bunch last night. Normally, I'm just looking at Bandicam, I'm sorry. Normally, I would not play so often, but Mondays are a really dull night for me. There's nothing going on, so I'm like, all right, let's get some matches off. I got some great ones, and I'm even going to show you one where I lose. In case anybody was wondering, why doesn't he ever show himself losing? Well, because it's got to be interesting. I think it's got to at least be a good battle. I don't show every win. I don't show every rage quit. And I'm only going to show a loss if it's a good battle, and I don't get, nobody wants to see me just get completely swept or completely walled out because I got a team that one Pokemon on the opposing team completely walls me out. So this first battle is against Bryan. Ooh, yeah! He's on the right. I'm on the left. Let's do this. So I send out Noctowl. Noctowl, not to be underestimated. Floatzel is their lead, but they have Ice Punch. I'm like, oh, well, that just sucks, doesn't it? But I managed to live and get off the Toxic, so Noctowl pretty much did his job here. I decided to keep him in so I can get a clean swap in. They went for Liquidation to take me out. I think they might have been expecting me to swap there, and that's why they didn't go for Ice Punch again, but whatever. So I sent out Clawitzer. As I figure, I've seen this thing do water, I've seen this thing do ice, Clawitzer resists both. They went for Brick Break, it doesn't do that much. Aura Sphere just barely doesn't take it out, but it's going to go down to the Toxic, so hey, we have Noctowl to thank for that. So they send in Rotom Wash. I decide to swap to Palossand because definitely here comes an Electric type move, and I was correct. So no big deal there. They They swip into Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is, of course, frightening, but I managed to get the Toxic off, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope this thing doesn't have aromatherapy. So I decided to swap into Victini, figuring that I could at the very least force them to swap, but they don't. They went for Bulk Up instead. So I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. So I went for V-Create, and of course it just bodies the Tapu Bulu. I lose Speed Defense and Special Defense, but, whatever, Victini already did great. He took out a Legendary and a Rage Quit, so that's a win for me. Okay, so let's move over to this next battle versus Nitro XL Gamer or whatever. They're on the right, I'm on the left. So I sent out Golisopod, and they sent out Palossand. Seem to be seeing a lot of Palossand, so I went for the Aqua Jet. It's not very powerful, and it actually triggers their ability, which raises their defense. But there's really nothing else I can do to this. I try Toxic, I miss. They went for Shore Up to Heal. I'm like, okay, it's going to be one of those. So I went for another Aqua Jet. I get a critical hit, but their Water Compaction is just starting to rack up. They went for Earth Power. It does nothing. I'm like, okay, we're going to be here a while, it seems. I don't feel like swapping because they put Stealth Rocks up. Finally get the Toxic off. Now it doesn't matter how high your defense goes. They go for Shadow Ball. I found a little more damage with that, but I'm getting some back from my leftovers at the very least, and I know this thing's going to go down. So I decided to go for Leech Life, even though it's not a lot of damage. It at least won't trigger the ability and give me a little tiny bit of health back and just stall out, let the Toxic rack up. But then I get impatient. I go for Aqua Jet again, just because I'm impatient. They go for another Shadow Ball. I'm like, all right, I'm probably going to go down first here, even though they're untoxic. So I send an Arceus. This is a Water-type Arceus. And you're thinking, well, why use a Water-type move? Well, Judgment. Judgment will do enough damage, and Palossand goes down to the Water-type Judgment. So they send in Rotom. I'm like, okay, definitely there's a Grass move coming, so I swap into Leafeon. There's a lot of swapping in this battle. They went for Leaf Storm. They actually missed. It wouldn't have done really any damage anyway. They went for another Leaf Storm. It missed. What am I going to do? I'm going to do X-Scissor. It almost does the damage I'm looking for. I was looking to take him down in red health or at least kill. Kricketune comes in. I'm like, well, here comes the Bug-type move, but let me just use Knockoff just to knock off their leftovers or whatever it was. It did turn out to be leftovers. And then swap over to Rampardos. So, yeah, Rampardos takes the Leech Life not as well as I was hoping. That kind of sucked. But then they decide to swap into Guzzlord. So I'm like, all right, I can deal with this. I went for Head Smash, taking myself out with Recoil, but I did take it down in red health. So I'm really not feeling badly about that. I send the Leafeon back in. I know what's going to happen. They're going to swap into Kricketune again and go for that Bug-type move. But, whatever. They're still swapping into X-Scissor. They're down to red health now. I decided to just go for the knockoff because I outspeed it. And Bapu Beep Kricketune is done. So here comes Zekrom. Zekron's a little frightening. But, you know, I'm not too worried. I'm like, well, my Leafeon's pretty much done everything he can. I'm going to pop his balloon, get a little damage with knockoff. They actually went for Hone Claws. So I'm like, okay, I guess Leafeon's going to swap out because I can go into Tapu Koko because definitely there's going to be a Dragon type move coming. Of course, Tapu Koko is Fairy type, so that doesn't affect him. They know, or they think they know, that I'm going to do a Fairy type move, which they did. So they they swapped into Landorus. I actually went for Wild Charge there because I was confusing Landorus with Tornadus, which is just Flying type. Landorus is Flying and Ground type, so I'm just like, don't. I sent in Cryogonal. Cryogonal, I think, is really underrated. They swapped in Zekrom. That's a mistake. Ice Beam is going to easily take down Zekrom. Cryogonal is another Pokemon that I feel doesn't get the respect it deserves because it's a stupid giant snowflake and it's an Ice type. But I've had a lot of luck with Cryogonal. They swap in Guzzlord. That's also weak to Ice. Actually, their entire team is weak to Ice because all they have left is Tornadus, which is double weak to Ice, and Rotom, which is weak to Ice. So they try to get a Hidden Power. It's probably like Hidden Power Rock or something like that. It's not going to do enough damage. Rotom Mow goes down. The only Pokemon left is the Tornadus. I'm sorry, it's Landorus. I keep thinking it's Tornadus. That's why I accidentally went for Electric Move. Well, not accidentally, on purpose went for an Electric Move because I thought it was Tornadus. It's actually Landorus. Confusing with these fucking genies. Okay, so that was game. Cryogonal was the savior there. So, moving on to the next match. This one's versus Lucario. They're on the left. I'm on the right this time. People have told me there's a way to swap things around so that I'm always on the left, but I don't see it. I don't see the button. I see home, Pokedex, replays, ladder, forum, play, music on and off, color scheme, light, dark, download, speed, play, more replays. That's all the buttons I see. There's literally nothing here. So let's see. Now, they sent in Klefki. I sent in Deoxys. This is a really interesting matchup here. They went for Spikes. I went for Stealth Rock. So we're going to be throwing entry hazards at each other for a little while. They went for a second round of Spikes. I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing. I sent out Spikes. So they sent out more Spikes. I'm like, all right, we're still doing this. I sent out a second layer of Spikes. Okay, they set up a light screen. Okay, I sent out a third layer. So I got 3 layers of Spikes. I got Stealth Rocks. I'm really hoping nobody has Rapid Spin. So they went for the Play Rough there. I'd gone for Seismic. I only have Seismic Toss. I'm level 73, so it's only going to do 73 damage. But Klefki, I don't think really has anything to do to me. We know it has Spikes, Light Screen, Stealth Rock, and Play Rough. So they swap into Exploud. Exploud is going to take a lot of damage right off the bat from the entry hazards, and then I'm going to Seismic Toss him. He goes for, what was it? Do it so I can say what it was, because I forgot. It was that sound-based move. Boom Burst. I just barely lived that. So, that's no big deal. The light screen wears off. Seismic Toss is going to take down the Explouds. I'm feeling really good about this. His Klefki is pretty much useless at this point. I took out his Exploud, and I've only revealed my starter here. They sent in Tornadus. That's the one that I was thinking of. So I sent an Absol. I forgot exactly what I was thinking here. They went for Hurricane. They actually missed. So I actually go ahead and Mega Evolve into Mega Absol. They went for Superpower. Fuck, I didn't know they had that, and my Mega Absol goes down before it gets to actually do anything. So this is actually going to be a rather close battle. I sent in Alomomola because it's just really bulky in defense and has a lot of hit points. They sent in Mine. I'm like, all right, here comes the electric move, but let me knock off whatever it has turned out to be leftovers. That was a smart move. So what is this Mine going to do? It's not going to do much of anything because I swap into Reshiram. So Reshiram comes out, and they went behind a substitute, which is like, all right, I don't know what you're doing here, man. I really don't know what you're doing. I actually could have probably stayed with Alomomola. They set up the nasty plot. I went for Flame Charge. I actually also had Blue Fair, but I wanted to use Flame Charge for the speed boost because every time you use it, your speed goes up. So I use another Flame Charge. I'm just going to keep spamming Flame Charge. I'm now at 2x speed. So I'm thinking, all right, my Reshiram's a sweeper. Let's see what we can do with this thing. Out comes Diancie. I'm thinking it might Mega Evolve or something, but it doesn't really matter that much. I sent out a Alomomola because I'm expecting a Fairy-type move. They went for Stealth Rocks. They're like, oh, wow. They're probably swapping and seeing how much damage 3 layers of Spikes and Stealth Rocks does, and then saying, hey, wait, I didn't set up Stealth Rocks. Out comes Klefki. It gets annihilated. by the entry hazards and the knockoff. So my strategy right now is to just try not to swap. I've only lost one Pokemon. They've lost 3. They sent in Tornadus, of course. That is immune to spikes, but extra weak to the rocks. So I went for knockoff. Got rid of his Assault Vest. So that's why it was so tanky. So I'm thinking, well, now that I knocked off the Assault Vest, it might have Roost or something. But, you know, I don't think it did. So I went and hit him with another knockoff. I decided to swap into Reshiram, even though I'm going to take massive damage from the entry hazards. They went for Hurricane and Mist. Because I figured, well, I could just use like an Ice type move or something. That's what I was thinking. They went for Heat Wave. I took that really well. I went for Roost. So all the entry hazards are pretty much nullified because now I'm at full health with leftovers. So they went for Hurricane again. It actually does pretty good damage. I can see why they're continually trying to use it. I went for the Flame Charge to take out the Tornadus and give myself a speed boost. So they only have 2 Pokemon left. They have the Diancie, which I guess is not a Mega Diancie, and one more Pokemon. They sent out the Diancie, and I went for Blue Flare there instead of Flame Charge. I forgot what my reasoning was. I think it has higher accuracy. So they sent in Garchomp. That's their last Pokemon. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. They're probably going to Mega Evolve, which is stupid. Don't ever Mega Evolve Garchomp. Draco Meteor is going to body him, and that's game. So good game. Let's move on to the next one. And this next one is against Big T957. They're on the right. I'm on the left. So I actually start off with Rhyperior, and they start off with Articuno. So I'm thinking, well, you know, this is interesting. Here comes an Ice Beam or a Blizzard or something. I take it not too badly, and the Stone Edge thankfully hits and takes the Articuno out. Articuno is, of course, double weak to Rock type moves. So here comes Kyurem. I'm like, all right, well, I know what's going to happen. I swap in Tapu Fini to take either the Ice Beam or the Dragon type move better. Dragon type move, of course, it would have been completely immune to. They swap out to Rotom Mow, so I'm like, okay. It takes the Moonblast pretty well. Of course, that would have bodied their Kyurem. So like, all right, well, here comes an electric type move. But no, they actually went for Will-O-Wisp, which Rhyperior is protected on, and I double swap into Flareon. So they went for Leaf Storm, as I predicted, because Rhyperior is double weak to grass type moves. And I'm like, okay, now they swap into Necrozma. So much swapping, but this is Duskmane Necrozma. It is weak to fire. I go for Flame Charge, get that little speed boost, and I get poisoned by my Toxic Orb. I went for another Flame Charge. So the Toxic Orb, the speed boosts, Flareon is doing pretty great here, but then it gets bodied by that Earthquake. So that just kind of sucks. He was setting up to do something really great. I sent in Weezing, and I screwed up badly here. They went for the Z move, Searing Sunrays Smash. I screwed up. I knew that Necrozma was a Steel type, and I'm thinking, okay, I can't poison it, but maybe I can get a little damage with Sludge Bomb. That was a real dirt moment because, of course, Steel types are completely immune to all poison type moves, not just the poison type status, but also the damage as well. So that was just stupid on my part. So I sent out Tapu Fini. Use Surf to take down Necrozma. I didn't want to do anything too crazy there. Surf is really reliable. So it's 4v4. They sent out Rotom Mow. I'm like, we're doing this again. So I sent in Uxie. So Uxie takes the Leaf Storm a lot worse than I was hoping for. I was really hoping that it would take it better than that, but at least I get a little back from leftovers. I went for Psychic. It doesn't quite take out Rotom. They went for Thunderbolt. I don't know why they didn't just use another Leaf Storm. Probably because Thunderbolt has better accuracy, but that just doesn't have the damage they're looking for. So the second Psychic is going to take Rotom Mow out. So I'm ahead now, but not by a lot. And this is a really good battle. They sent in their Kyurem. I'm like, all right, here we go again. I sent in Tapu Fini because it's either going to take the Ice Beam better, or they're going to use a Dragon type move, and I'm not going to take it at all. So then they swatch over to Persian, which to take the Moonblast, which would have bodied Kyurem, but it does pretty good damage against Persian, so I'm not even mad about it. They went for Return. It's not what they're looking for. It really isn't. I know I can take another Return. I use Surf. Oh, not quite. Not quite. So here comes another Return. I'm going to take this just badly. They're down to 1%. I'm like, all right, let's finish them off with a Surf. And Bapu BP's done. So all they have left is Kyurem and one Pokemon I haven't seen. I still have my Rhyperior, and one other Pokemon, and I forget what the other one is. So Aromatisse is their last Pokemon. I tried a Surf. It didn't really do much, and I go down to the Moonblast. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to do here? So I sent out, oh, my last Pokemon is Magcargo. So I'm figuring, I don't know what I can do with this thing. Magcargo's not great, but it does have Toxic. It misses. They went for Wish, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to go for Toxic again because they're going to stay in to get their health back. And, of course, the Toxic hits the second time around. They went for Moonblast, which, of course, I resist, but they at least popped my balloon. So I thought, I hope they don't have Earthquake or something, or any kind of ground-type move, because I can get bodied by that pretty easily. I go for Fire Blast just for the stab. It does okay. They went for Aromatherapy. I'm like, oh, shit. Of course, Aromatisse has Aromatherapy. But I'm like, all right, no sense in poisoning it. I'm just going to spam Fire Blast and just try to take this thing out. It's using Wish, which is not going to be enough because I outspeed it. And they didn't gain enough health back from their leftovers to take the next Fire Blast. In comes Kyurem. Fire is neutral against this. Draco Meteor doesn't quite take me out, so I'm like, all right, let's get some damage off Fire Blast. Oh, man, I was hoping for more than that. I know that it's Dragon type, but it's also Ice type. They went for Focus Blast. That takes me out. So I'm a little worried here because I have Uxie and I have Rhyperior. Neither of them is exactly fresh. I go for the Psychic. It does absolute monkeys. Focus Blast, of course, I'm going to resist that, but they give me that special defense drop. I'm not too worried about that because, like I said, I resist that. I went for Yawn. I'm like, at least I can put this thing to sleep, so if it kills me, I could, when I swap into Rhyperior, it'll be asleep. So at least there's that. They went for Outrage. They're now locked into Outrage. I decided to swap now because I figure Rhyperior can take an Outrage, and I was correct. They get confused, and they're put to sleep. So I'm like, okay, even if they wake up at this point, they might get themselves in confusion. I have, no health left. I went for Dragon Tail, just for shits and giggles. And the second, well, actually, it is super effective. So that takes him down. So that was a very, very close match, but I was able to come out on top there. Okay, so this next battle is versus Vice XX203. They're on the right. I'm on the left. Let's do this. I have a Flygon lead. Don't get used to seeing him. Conkeldurr is going to take him out pretty quickly. I went for Earthquake. It does not much, and they actually had Ice Punch, and that's it. Of course, Flygon is double weak to Ice, so Bapu BP's done. But he has a Flame Orb, so he's not going to be able to do a lot of damage. I didn't have much to send in against him. I didn't have any Psychic or Flying moves. I decided to send in Hariyama, knocked off his Flame Orb. They knocked off my Life Orb. So, okay, that's interesting. But Hariyama, in my opinion, is the better fighting type guy. So I just used Close Combat to take him down, and that's the Conkeldurr down. I was really worried about that thing. Here comes Executor. I'm like, oh, shit, it's going to be a Harvest Executor. They miss with Sleep Powder. I decide to knock off their Citrus Berry right now so that they can't use it and then harvest it. So that's good. They went for Sleep Powder a second time. It misses, and the second knockoff is a crit, and that crit definitely mattered. I'm so happy to get that thing out of here. So Draudigon comes in. I'm like, Hariyama is doing just a lot of work. They went for Sucker Punch. It doesn't do what they're looking for. Of course, I resist Dark-type moves. I went to knock off whatever it was they had. It turned out to be a Life Orb. So I'm like, all right, I decided to start bulking up now because this thing can't do anything to me. And he actually went to set up with Stealth Rocks, which is fine by me. I go for a second bulk up. I'm looking to kind of turn him into a sweeper. Went for Gunk Shot, probably hoping to poison me because I think he's a little worried that I go for the third bulk up. My defense is up, my attack is up, my special defense is down. He locks himself in Outrage. I know I have to attack. Close Combat is going to be more than enough to take him out there. And, of course, part of that, all those bulk ups is to get some of my defense back that you lose from using Close Combat. So in comes Mega Sharpedo. They went for Waterfall. It just misses taking me out, but I flinch, so I know I'm going down here. So I decided to actually swap because I figured they'd expect me to stay in. I swapped into Linoon. They went for Waterfall. I take it pretty badly, but I have a Mago Berry, so I get a lot of health back there. I went for Extreme Speed. It doesn't do what I'm looking for. They went for Crunch. I just barely lived it. I figure, all right, I'll just go for another Extreme Speed. They predicted that went for Protect, but it's not like I was going to die or anything. So I was just like, all right, I'll just go for Extreme Speed again on the second turn. If they go for Double Protect, they're stupid. I don't know if they did or not. They finally take me out with the Crunch, but Linoon didn't do too badly there. So I sent in Turtonator. So I figure, you know, water versus water. I have the better defense. He went for waterfall. Thankfully, it didn't flinch me, and I'm able to get the earthquake off. But he lives on 2% health. I decide to set a shell trap because I figure I can take whatever it's going to use. Turned out to be Ice Fang. I think they were predicting a swap. The shell trap is going to take him out. So I'm up here, but I'm a little worried. Here comes Fion. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? Scald. I thought that's easily going to take me out, but I just lived on 1% health. I decided to go for Explosion just to get some damage off on Fion. And, just kind of an FU. I send in Lord Helix. I believe this is a Shell Smash Lord Helix. He takes the Ice Beam really well because, he's Water type. I go for the Shell Smash. The Wider gives me my Special Defense and Defense back. So now Lord Helix is risen. I go for Earth Powered. Fion goes down like a sack of potatoes. So, bop, boop, beep. In comes Venomoth. I'm like, oh, sweet, I have Ice Beam. It doesn't quite take him out, but I know it's over at this point. They went for Substitute. I think that they thought they would outspeed Lord Helix, but because of the Shell Smash, there was no chance I'd take out the Substitute. They went for Quiver Dance. I think they were just, goofing off at this point because there's no way this thing's going to live another hit from Ice Beam. They went for Bug Buzz, which doesn't quite do what they wanted it to, and the Ice Beam's going to take him down. So Lord Helix, praise him. So the next battle is against Storied Leaf. This is a really interesting one. They're on the right, I'm on the left. Let's do this. So I sent out Drampa. They sent out Turtonator. I'm like, okay, this is a cool start. They went for Draco Meteor. They almost take me out. I went for Draco Meteor, and I actually take out the Turtonator. So I'm just like, all right, cool. I didn't think I would. I thought it would actually live on more health than I lived on. So they sent out the Mighty Pelipper. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see if I can do anything. But they outspeed me with Scald, and Drampa's not very fast. I figured I would get outsped, but I get a clean swap in now. So I sent in Rotom. This is just regular old Rotom. I went for Hidden Power Ice because I figured they would swap out, fearing the electric type move, but they didn't. They went for knockoff, so I'm like, all right, they're not a swapper, so I'm just going to go for Thunderbolt and take them out. Just let me answer this text here. Okay, there we go. All right, so they sent out Omastar, and of course it's a Shell Smash Lord Helix. I'm like, all right, but a Thunderbolt is probably going to take it out. No, it doesn't. It just lives, and it's not like a special defense went out, so the Ice Beam is going to take me down. Never underestimate Lord Helix. He's having his revenge in this round from the last one. So I sent out Hitmonchan because I figure, well, I can just get a Mach Punch off, take out Lord Helix real fast. Turns out the rest of their team are all really super weak to fighting. Here comes Heliolisk, which is, of course, part normal type. So I decided to go for Drain Punch, kill it, get pretty much all my health. Well, not pretty much, but all my health back there. That's done. Lucario. Of course, Lucario is part Steel type and is therefore weak to fighting. I went for Mach Punch, takes off most of his health. Sadly, he had went for Nasty Plot, so he doesn't get anything off. So the second Mach Punch is going to take him down. So there goes the Mega Lucario. And the last Pokemon is the Alolan Muck. Storied Leaf actually said, "You bastard," to me in the chat there. He was being playful. It seems like a good guy. Alolan Muck is, of course, part Dark type, therefore is weak to Fighting type. It's a little bulkier than their other Pokemon, so it's taken a couple more shots. But this isn't going to go well. They actually managed to poison me, but it's like whatever at this point. Muck is a superstar, but he's going down. He's going down. So the guy seemed like he was pretty good. He just got unlucky. He got a team that was mostly weak to fighting, and I had a Hitmonchan. So I really like Hitmonchan too. I know he's not a great Pokemon in competitive battling, but I like to use him. I don't always like to use all the best Pokemon. So this next one is versus Bagel Dubstep. I love the name. It's so friggin' weird. They're on the right. I'm on the left. So I sent in Steelix. This is a Mega Steelix. They sent in Hydreigon. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I immediately Mega Evolve. I take the Dragon Pulse really well because, of course, I'm Steel type. I don't know why. Maybe they thought I would swap. I went for Heavy Slam. It takes off more than half their health. I'm very happy about that. They decide to U-turn the hell out of here. I went for Heavy Slam again. I think that was my only really attacking move. They went into Landorus, which I find a very annoying Pokemon. It takes the Heavy Slam a lot better than their Hydreigon would have. So I decided to swap because I'm like, maybe I can save the Mega Steelix for later. I swap into Samurott. They went for Swords Dance, so I'm like, all right, this works for me. Samurats are also really great. I take the superpower pretty well, and they get their attack and defense down. I went for liquidation, that takes them out. So I'm like, all right, 2 down, or 1 down rather. So they send in Muck. I'm like, okay, let's send Steelix back out because here comes the Poison type move, right? Actually, they went for Shadow Sneak, but that does nothing. So they they know they can't do anything to make a Steelix. They sent out Turtonator. I went for Earthquake, which works on Muck. It also works pretty well on Turtonator, to be honest. So the second Earthquake's going to take them down because I outspeed them. Mega Steelix is deceptively fast, and they Rage Quit. So that was an interesting one. So this is versus Professor Cotton. They're on the right. I'm on the left. I send in Wobbuffet. Oh my God, they got to be shitting their pants. Here comes Quagsire. Now this person kind of knows what Wobbuffet's up for. They decided to go for Encore in case I decided to start with Light Screen or something. But I went for Counter. They went for Encore again. I went for Counter. So now, I mean, I can't. I'm locked in now. So their first Encore failed, but I'm locked into Counter. So I'm like, okay, Counter. They're hitting me with Scald, which is, of course, special. So I'm just like, I'm waiting for the Encore to end so I can use Mirror Code, and I know I can take this Quagsire down. Unfortunately, I'm burned, but I know I can take this Quagsire down if my Encore ends. It finally ends, and I'm going to go for the Mirror Code. They went for Scald. It almost takes me out, but of course Mirror Code is going to take Quagsire down. And that's pretty much how Wobbuffet works, but they got around it pretty well, I thought. That's pretty much how you get around the Wobbuffet. They only lost 1 Pokemon. So they sent in Hitmonlee. I ate the Custat Berry, which didn't help me at all because they went for Fake Out, and that's it for Wobbuffet. So Wobbuffet's down. I sent in Goodra. I know they don't have like Ice Punch because Hitmonlee is a kicker. They went for Knockoff. There goes my Assault Vest. I went for Dragon Tails. Just get off my screen, Hitmonlee. I don't want to deal with you right now. There's Lunatone. So I went for Dragon Pulse. It does okay. Not anything amazing. They went for Rock Polish. So I'm like, okay, they're probably going to outspeed me here. But I might be able to live whatever it is they throw at me. But they went for Calm Mind. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to Dragon Tail them out of there. Because I was already wanting to get rid of them just to get rid of that speed boost. Now I got rid of all their boosts. Jellicent comes out. I try to Earthquake it. It doesn't do what I want it to do. Toxic misses. I'm feeling good about that. I'm like, oh, they're going to go for Toxic again, but whatever. So they went, but they didn't. They went for Shadow Ball. So I'm like, okay. I went for Dragon Tail. Get off my screen. Get out of here, Jellicent. Hitmonlee comes back. They went for Fake Out. That's going to flinch me, of course. So I know I'm going down here, but you know, whatever. I feel like I did pretty good there. I revealed some of their team. So Goodra goes down. So they're technically ahead, but I sent out Tapu Bulu. Scary fucking Pokemon. They went for Knockoff. They get rid of my Life Orb. That's fine with me. I'm actually fine with that. The Grassy Terrain is going to be healing me, and now I'm not going to be losing health to my Life Orb. Stun Edge misses. I'm a little salty about that. High Jump Kick misses. Now I'm not so salty. And then they go down to, of course, High Jump Kick. What it does is if you miss it, you get recoil damage. You only avoid the recoil damage if it actually hits. I had gone for Mega Horn there. Of course, there was nobody on the field. So here comes Vivillon. They went for Sleep Powder. I'm immune to that, and the Stone Edge hits this time, takes Vivillon immediately down. Professor Cotton said, oof, in the chat. They sent out Cofagrigus. I went for Wood Hammer just to get some good damage. Of course, that's going to swap our abilities. So now I have Mummy. They have Grassy Surge. But that's fine because the Grassy Terrain's still on the field, and I'm still getting that boost from it. So I went for the second Wood Hammer. That's going to take them right down. So good night, sleep tight, you white. Get out, get out, get down! So that's it. They forfeited. They rage quit. And, I mean, all they had is Lunatone and Jellicent left. I could have easily dealt with those. So let's move on to the next battle. This is versus Odin Apollo. They're on the left. I'm on the right. Let's do it. So they sent out Zygarde. I sent out Haxorus. I'm like, okay, Dragon versus Dragon. Let's see what's going to happen. They swapped into Ninetails, knowing that I'm going to use a Dragon-type move. Smart move, because I had locked myself into Outrage. That sucks. So I'm like, okay, this really just blows. But thankfully, I'm able to swap out of there. I sent in Volcanion. Now, Volcanion has these amazing typing. I knew an Ice type move was coming. Volcanion is Water and Fire type, which is just double resists Ice type. So they sent out Cinccino. Cinccino, you never know what it's going to have. It's a really great Pokemon. I do the Sludge Wave, just get some damage off, see if I can maybe poison it. I don't, but it's sort of whatever. The hail's crashing down, but my leftovers helping with that. I swap in a Noctowl in case it goes for a ground type move. It actually went for Aqua Tail, so I'm like, all right, well we'll let Noctowl stay in and just do something. So I take the Aqua Tail. It does less than half. I went for Whirlwind. I'm like, let's just see what else they have. They have Infernape. So I'm like, okay, what's this thing going to do to me? A fire type move, a fighting type move? I don't think so. Ah, shit, it has Stone Edge. I'll go down. Oh, well, and it actually hit. Of course Stone Edge is going to hit in a situation like that. So I sent Haxorus back in. I figured, well, maybe I can make them swap over to Alolan Ninetales again, but they went for Stone Edge. So I'm like, all right, Earthquake. Doesn't quite take him out. Takes him down to red health. They went for Stone Edge again. That takes me down to red health. But the next Earthquake is going to take the Infernape out. So at least he's out of there. That's a good thing. So I'm like, all right, well, now is Alolan Ninetales going to come out? No, Love Disc comes out. So that's really interesting. I had already swapped into Samurott, expecting the Alolan Ninetales. They went for Scald. I resisted that pretty well, but I get burned. So that just sucks. That just really sucks. So they go for Sweet Kiss to confuse me, and of course that works. I'm burned and confused, but I'm like, I'm going to go for Swords Dances. We'll see what happens. Even though I'm confused, I'm not too worried about it. They went for Protect, but that's okay because I went for a second Swords Dance. Unfortunately, I got confused there. So they went for Double Protect. They actually get it, but guess what? I went for Swords Dance again, and my confusion ended, so I have 3x attack. So I'm like, all right, let's kill this thing before it confuses me again. They actually tried Sweet Kiss again, but it missed. Sacred Sword is going to be pretty good damage on the Love Disc, but Love Disc actually has some, a good amount of hit points. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see what happens. They went for the Protect. I figured they'd go for Protect, so I went for Swords Dance again. So, that was a good read on my part. I got to clap myself on the back because if I don't praise myself, who's going to? They went for the Double Protect. That's not going to work. So Sacred Sword's going to be enough to take them down. My health's getting pretty low. I am burned. That sucks. So it's not really 4x attack. It's more like 2x. In comes Cinccino. I'm like, all right, let's see if I can outspeed it. I don't. Fuck. Knock off. Dead. Bop boop beep. But it's 4v4. I sent Volcanion back out because I'm like, all right, if this thing had an Ground type move, it's going to do it by now. They went for knockoff. There goes my leftovers. Sludge Wave. Don't get the poison, but they're pretty much done. The second knockoff, of course, is going to do less damage because I'm not holding an item. And the second Sludge Wave is going to take Cinccino out. So, all right, now I'm ahead. They send Zygarde back out. And I'm like, okay, I kind of wanted this matchup before, but they have 1,000 arrows. Ooh, that sucks. Down I go. So I sent an Avalugg. Avalugg is a major problem for pretty much their whole team. I knew they were going to send in Alolan Ninetales, so I went for Earthquake because they're like, oh, he's going to use an Ice move. Switch over to Ninetales. No, I went for Earthquake. So like I said, this is a major problem. They go for Hidden Power. It might have been Hidden Power. It could have been Hidden Power anything. It could have been Rock. It could have been Fire. It could have been Fighting. I don't know what it is, but it's super effective, but it's not what they need. So they went for Moonblast. That's better damage, but the Ninetales is going to go down to this next Earthquake. So, that's it. Like I said, this Avalugg is a major problem for their team. Obviously, Zygarde is double weak to Ice. I think maybe they're thinking they can outspeed me, which they do. They went for Iron Tail to flinch me. No, Iron Tail doesn't flinch. I don't know what Iron Tail does, but I know it has very low accuracy. I'm not able to quite take them down with Avalanche. But they go into their complete form. I'm like, all right, here comes the Iron Tail. They actually hit that time. It does okay damage, but Avalugg is very bulky in defense. Zygarde goes down to the Avalanche, and their last Pokemon is going to come out, and it's Toxapex. This is a major issue. Wait till you guys see this. So they set up Toxic Spikes. I went for Earthquake. Like, okay, it does more than half health. No problem, right? But they go for Scald, and I'm done. So I'm like, shit. So I have Haxorus, and I have one more Pokemon. What am I going to do to this Toxapex? I sent out Registeel because I figure Registeel can't get poisoned by the spike. I go for Iron Head. I get a crit, but it does nothing. I do get the flinch. Iron Head is the only attacking move that Registeel has. I had Protect, which is not going to do me any good. And I had I had Mirror Coat and some other bullshit. I forget exactly what my set was, but Iron Head was my only attacking move, and they have Recover. I'm doing no damage here. So I'm like, oh shit. See, this is what I figure. I figure if I send in the Zygarde, I can take this thing out, but it's going to get poisoned and immediately, and I'm going to swap into a move. Haxorus has like no health. I need a clean swap, so I need my Registeel to die. So I'm just smashing on Iron Head. They're smashing on Skull to get the burn off. So I'm like, okay. So now I'm going to die because I'm not going to do any damage. I'm not going to do enough damage to get back. It's, he said fuck in the chat. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking along the same lines. I'm not doing enough damage. They're getting 1% health back pretty much every turn from their leftovers because it's just not working out. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is just amazing. But I'm thinking, oh my god, if they don't get too much health back, I can swap into Haxorus and I know my Haxorus will outspeed Toxapex, and I can just take them out instantly. So I know I'm going to go, and I have leftovers too, so even the burn isn't really taking me down fast enough. I actually wish that I didn't have leftovers. I actually said in the chat, this might take a while. So if I didn't have the leftovers, I would have won, because if I didn't have the leftovers, the Registeel would have went down sooner and let them get less health back, because every time I use an Iron Head, I'm doing 5.5% of their health. And every time they hit me, and I'm sorry, I'm screwed up here. Every time I use Iron Head, I'm doing 5.5 to 6% of their health, but then they're getting 6% back from leftovers. So I'm either breaking even or they're gaining a little bit of health back each turn. So I'm thinking this sucks. If I had gone down sooner, they would have had less health, and I would have been able to. This is the one I lost, by the way. I'm just gonna spoiler alert. I lose this battle, but not by much. This is just the craziest shit ever. So I'm actually gonna speed this up a little. So yeah, Iron Head, it's all I have. It's all I have. Okay, so he finally goes down. In comes Haxorus. He gets poisoned, breaks the mold, eats his Lumberry. I didn't realize he had that. Go for Earthquake. It's super effective. Oh, he lives on 15% damage. I'm going to go down a Skull. But what an amazing game, though. Holy shiitake mushrooms. So, great game there. It could have gone better for me. Could have gone better for him. But here we go. Okay, so this is actually my last battle to show you. This is versus Pudatat. They're on the left. I'm on the right. So they start out with Excadrill here, and I have a Simisage. This Simisage is a total beast. So they actually decide to swap into Cloyster, which is bad news because I had gone for Giga Drain, which murders their Cloyster. It was probably a Shell Smash user. Could have been a problem. Glad to take them out. They sent in Stantler. Guess what I have? They went for Sucker Punch. It does okay damage, but guess what I have? Superpower. They go down. So that's 2 down to the mighty Simisage. There, the salt must flow, you guys. The salt is real. Here comes Raynucleus. I can never say that right. I went for knockoff. That takes up a good amount of health. They're setting up the Trick Room, so now everything's going to outspeed me. And Psyshock finally takes down Simisage. But wow, what a good monkey. They did a great job. So I sent out Gallad here because I figure I could take the Psyshock better with him. I don't have anything that'll resist it, but it'll at least take neutral damage. But they went for Shadow Ball. I Mega Evolve, go for knockoff. They just barely live. I know I'm not going to take another Shadow Ball, so I decided to save the Mega Gallad and switch into Minior. So Minior goes into Shields Up form. Psyshock does good damage, but there's no way they're going to live, especially after I use Shell Smash. With my White Herb, I know I'm going to outspeed them, so that's pretty much it. Shields go down because I'm at yellow health. I went for Acrobatics to take them down. I was like, I need a reliable move there. So Raynucleus goes down. I can never say that right. Here comes the Excadrill. I went for Earthquake. They go down. I know the salt is real at this point. The salt must flow. They sent in Hippowdon. This thing's a major problem for me. A major, major issue. Hippowdon's really good. I went for Earthquake. It doesn't do much. Stone Edge is going to be able to take me out there. I'm like, shit, what can I do to this Hippowdon? Hippowdon is just a really great Pokemon. I don't know what I'm going to do. I decided to send the Mega Gallad back in. I go for knockoff just to get rid of their leftovers. That helps a lot. I went for Earthquake. I just barely lived, but before I can celebrate, I go down to the Sandstorm. So at least he got rid of the leftovers there. So I sent in my Drotagon, and I went for Glare. So all right, he'll occasionally not attack, and at least I'll outspeed him now, so that's good. So I have a little bit of breathing room here. I'm technically ahead. It's no, actually, I'm technically behind. Actually, no, I'm ahead. I'm looking at the wrong side of the screen. So I decided to Dragon Tail them out of there. Here comes Terrakia, and I'm like, all right, cool. They went for Swords Dance. That's a big mistake because I'm going to Dragon Tail them out of there. And that every time when you swap out all your stat boosts and stat losses go back to 0, Hippowdon's back. I'm planning on just Dragon Tailing them back and forth. Unfortunately, Hippowdon has Slack Off, which is going to gain more health back. But I'm thinking if I keep doing this, I can at least kill the Terrakion. So that might help. I'm thinking he might be dumb enough to go for Swords Dance again. But actually he goes for Stone Edge, which does good damage. So I'm like, all right, but we're going to get you off my screen anyway. Draudigon's going to go down real soon, especially since every time Hippowdon comes in, Sandstream causes the Sandstorm to go off. And I'm at 2% health. So they went for Slack Off. I thought they would actually go for an attacking move there to take me down. I missed the Dragon Tail. So that's not good because I'm going to go down to the Sandstorm. So I sent up my Mega Heracross. I went for a close combat just to do some damage. It does okay. It does okay. They missed Stone Edge. Stone Edge would have bodied me, so I'm glad it missed. I figure that's probably the only Rock-type move they have. Unfortunately, I get burned from my Flame Orb, so I'm like, shit. I don't, I don't mind can't talk. I don't mind what the Flame Orb can do for me, but I'm using a physical type move, and I really need that, to not be burned. So I finally take down the Hippowdon. All that's left is the Terrakion, and it's got yellow health, but I'm a little worried, and I should be because it goes for Stone Edge and immediately takes my Heracross out. I never even Mega Evolved it. It had I couldn't Mega Evolve it. But my last Pokemon is Raichu. I don't know why I got a team of 2 Megas, but you can only evolve one. So Raichu goes for Grass Knot. Thankfully, I had that. If I didn't have Grass Knot, I would have been in real trouble there. So GG, Putatat. That's going to be it for this time. I'll see you guys with more gameplay videos, more Pokemon Showdown, and of course, Hollow Knight's going to go on today, and more Paper Mario and all that. So I'll see you guys. My voice is tired at this point.